City Council. My name is Inamba Mukubesa, Senior Auditor from Livingstone Office.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. Good afternoon, Livingstone Town Council. My name is Asiame Kedrick, representing the Office of the Accountant General, Ministry of Finance and National Planning. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, members of the committee. Good afternoon, Livingstone. My full name is Achubuye Davis, Acting Assistant Director, Local Authorities, Ministry of Finance, Internal Audit. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of Parliament. Welcome, Livingstone. I'm Edwin Silimba from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelezo Lushako from Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of Parliament. Livingstone, you're welcome. My name is Emmanuel Bwalia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you very much. I will now invite you, Town Clerk, to introduce yourself and allow others to do the same.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Timothy Mambarakata, the Town Clerk for Livingstone City Council. With your permission, I will allow my officers to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Monde Nyambe, Director Finance, Livingstone City Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Asimbule Thomas, Director City Planning, Livingstone City Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Chifuniro Thomas Wilima, Socio-Economic Planner, Livingstone City Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. Nsonga Brighton, Assistant Director Engineering Services, Livingstone City Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Frankson Momba, Head Procurement, Livingstone City Council.
Thank you. Members from behind there, please walk up to the mic. Walk up to the mic.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Michael Kwengele. I'm Group Internal Auditor sitting in for the Chief Internal Auditor, Livingstone City Council. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Clement Wada is my name, Chief Accountant, Livingstone City Council.
Thank you very much. I will now invite honorable members. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, I'm grateful. Good afternoon, Livingstone City Council. My name is Singombe Edgar, representing Dundumwes constituency in Kalomo Southern Province. You're welcome and compliments of the season.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, Livingstone. Welcome to this committee. My name is Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Area Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency, Petoke District of the Eastern Province. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, our permanent witnesses. Good afternoon, Livingstone City Council. Honorable Mwene Lohamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency in Western Province, Kauma District. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Livingstone City Council, you are welcome to the committee and welcome to Mandev constituency, where I represent the good people of Mandev. I'm a member of the committee. My name is Christopher Shakafuso. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Livingstone, good afternoon and welcome. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, representing the special people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province and a member of the committee. You're welcome once again.
Thank you very much. Livingstone City Council, Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and the chairperson for this committee, the committee appearing before this afternoon, the Committee on Local Government Accounts. As per tradition, Town Clerk, members of Parliament under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia enjoy the immunity in the House, that whatever they say is never used against them, and that immunity is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee. You are conferred with the immunity that members enjoy, that during our deliberation, whatever you say will not be used against you in any law, in any court of law, But if you choose to mislead this committee, misinform the committee, misguide this committee, the same Cap 12 will be applied on you. However, I do not believe that you do mislead this committee. I'm on firm belief that you guide this committee and give it factual information, the right information that will help the committee to generate a very good report, the report that will then be submitted to the main house before Honorable Madam Speaker. With that guidance, Town Clerk, I will now invite you to make your submission, of course, with further guidance on your submissions. For instance, your submission starts on page 1, which is community project, and you read the query, then you go to the management response, you go to the action that you have taken as management, you go to the remedies that you are offering as management. In that fashion, may you proceed.
Thank you, Chair. The first item is delayed completion of rehabilitation of 4-kilometer road in Smonga Ward. Chair, the cause of the query, management wishes to acknowledge the external auditor's observation and to submit that the delay in completion of the Smonga Road in Smonga Ward was due to the frequent breakdowns of the old earth-moving equipment which the council experienced in the period under review. Also, Chair, the rains affected the progress of the works. Action taken. Management wishes to state that it kept repairing the old equipment and has since completed the roadworks in Smonga Ward. Appendix 1 is speaking to that, Chair. Remedial measure. Management has embarked on replacement of the old equipment with new ones and has since procured a new Caterpillar motor grader. Also, the council endeavored to secure project approvals in good time and speedily procure the works to avoid execution of such works in the rain season. The photos of the grader, is shown below, Chair. The next item is delayed completion of construction of Rizuma drainage. Cause for the query, Chair. Management wishes to report that the cause for the query was the contractor's slowness in execution of works, coupled with poor workmanship and failure to execute corrective instructions. Action taken, Chair. Management wishes to state that the contract was terminated on 28th February 2023, and the council has since rectified the defects and completed the project using force account by the engineering department. Appendix 2 is speaking to that, Chair. Also, we have attached the photos below. A remedial measure. Management is taking stock of all contractors who are doing short works so that in future they are not considered for similar works. Also, management will continue to engage contractors in the district with a view of building capacity on project management, especially for the new entrants. The next query, Chair, is delayed completion of rehabilitation of Kariba drainage. Because of the query, Chair, management wishes to acknowledge the observation made by the external auditors and state that the cause for the query was due to poor project management skills by the contractor and the adverse weather condition experienced at the time, being in the rain season. In addition, the contractor experienced a setback due to overflow of effluent into the drainage system from Swasco broken sewer lines, which Swasco delayed to work on. Also, there was community disagreement on the location and design of the crossing point, which interrupted the works. Appendix 3 speaks to this issue, Chair. Action taken. management wishes to state that the project has since been completed and handed over. See photos below. A remedial measure, management will ensure regular monitoring and support is done on every project following the acquisition of the CDF vehicle to ensure timely completion. Also, the Council will endeavor to secure project approvals in good time and speedily procure the works to avoid the execution of such works in the rain season. Further, management will continue to engage key stakeholders to avoid misunderstandings and delays in execution of works. Next query, Chair, is failure to pay and enroll approved skills development learners. Cause of the query, Chair, the Council wishes to acknowledge the query and report that the cause of the query was due to the approval letter from Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, which restricted the Council to pay school fees from the private TVET accredited institution at that time. Appendix 4, Chair, speaks to this issue. Action taken. The Council did the verification exercise and discovered that 129 of the learners abandoned the training in 2022, while 44 learners who continued with the training were paid for in 2023 after a recommendation from the Office of the Auditor General as indicated in the table below. Appendix 5 also is speaking to this issue, Chair. Remedial measures. Management will continue to adhere to the CDF guidelines and guidance from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development contained in conveyance of approval and other instruments. The next query, Chair, is students not physically verified at LIBES. Cause of the query, management wishes to report that the cause of the query was due to Livingstone Institute of Business and Engineering Studies' failure to avail to the Office of the Auditor General the learners for head count and documentary evidence for enrollment of approved learners at the time of auditing. Action taken. Management made a follow-up with LIBES and managed to collect documentary evidence indicating that 108 learners out of the 114 queried were enrolled in different intakes, as the school did not have enough capacity to accommodate them at once. Some learners completed their training by 31st December 2022, while other learners wrote their examinations in April 2023, August, and December 2023. Appendix 6 speaks to this matter, Chair. Management further wishes to state that 6 learners have not been accounted for. Therefore, the school was requested to refund the council, and the school has since refunded an amount of 22,530 kwacha in respect of the 6 learners. Appendix 7 speaks to this issue, Chair. Remedial measures. Management will continue sensitizing the learning institutions on the need to cooperate with external auditors and respond to their requests timely. Also, management has started the physical verification of number of learners enrolled in each institution before making the payment, as opposed to just relying on confirmation letters from schools. Part B, cross-cutting issues, Chair. First issue is budget performance. Cause of the query. Management wishes to acknowledge the observation made by the external auditor and wish to state that 13,036,889 kwacha was not spent as at 31st December 2022 due to the introduction of new CDF guidelines, which called for sensitization of key stakeholders in the implementation of CDF programs, as well as delayed approval of projects by various approval authorities and lengthy procurement processes, which consumed a lot of time before the actual implementation of programs could start. Management further wishes to report that the 2 million variance was the money which was withheld by Minister of Local Government for the purchase of the CDF monitoring and police vehicles, while the balance of 1,914,334 kwacha was the money for ongoing projects from previous years. Appendix 8 speaks to this matter, Chair. Action taken. Management wishes to report that an amount of 11,801,233 kwacha 42 ngwe has been spent so far, leaving a balance of 1,235,655 kwacha 58 ngwe as at 31 December 2023, as shown in the table below and Appendix 9. Remedial measures. Management will endeavor to secure approvals timely in line with CDF guidelines to ensure that projects are implemented in the same year of funding. Management will endeavor to procure goods and services speedily, following the recent amendments made to the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020, which has removed most of the serious bottlenecks in the procurement processes. Next query, Chair, is failure to spend on community projects 4,767,236 kwacha. Cause of the query, management wishes to report that failure to spend on time was due to the delay in approval of projects at the time and lengthy procurement processes. Action taken. Management wishes to report that most of the projects have been implemented and completed. Appendix 10 speaks to this matter, Chair. Remedial measures. The Council will endeavor to secure approvals timely to ensure that projects are implemented in the same year of funding. The Council will endeavor to procure goods and services speedily in light of the recent amendments made to the Procurement Act, number 8 of 2020, which have removed most of the serious bottlenecks in the procurement processes. Next query, Chair, is failure to spend on secondary school bursary and skills development, 2,387,213 kwacha. Because of the query, the Council wishes to report that 344 approved learners with amounts totaling to 2,387,213 kwacha had not yet been paid for, as the Council had not received confirmation of enrollment of learners from various learning institutions at the time of audit. Action taken. A total amount of 975,430 kwacha has been spent on confirmed enrolled learners at various learning institutions. Further, an amount of 1,220,750 kwacha was varied to community projects, leaving a balance of 191,033 kwacha. See the table below and Appendix 11, Chair. Remedial measures. The Council will endeavor timely follow-ups with learning institutions on the status of enrollment of approved learners. I beg to submit, Chair, for now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mwene, Honorable Singombe, and the Honorable Mwanza. Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much, Chair. TC, I would like to lead you to page 10. Students not physically verified at Labes. TC, you have submitted on the cause of the query that management wishes to report that the cause of the query was due to Livingstone Institute of Business and Engineering Studies Labes failure to avail to the Office of the Auditor General of the learners for headcount and documentary evidence for enrollment and approved learners at the time of auditing. TC, who should do the headcount? Is it supposed to be Libes or it is supposed to be you? Because according to me, here now you want to wash, you want now the council to wash itself in Libes, that Libes did not do the needful or due diligence here. On top of that, you are also submitting that after your management made follow-up, okay, that's when you were able to collect the documents, okay, for the documents for the learners indicating who are in class and who are not in class. So, don't you see this as a lapse or not doing the correct thing as a council? I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Maybe just an addition. TC, from your office to Libes, how many kilometers? From your office just to Libes there. Maybe that's where we even stay. TC, the auditors were auditing the local authority. They are not auditing Libes. The onus was on you to provide the information. If they went to Libes, they are going to confirm that what you have given them tallies with what is obtaining there. They are auditors, of course, they have no boundaries. They would go and compare what they are collecting, but what they are supposed to collect is from you. So you can turn around and say, no, Libes failed to give the auditors verified information or whatever they are supposed to give them. They are not auditing that one in the first place. They are just going to verify. I'm just adding on what he has, the question the member has asked. Another question? Just take note of those questions, then you respond at once. Honorable Simombe.
Chair, I'm grateful. I'm on page 13. Chair, maybe Livingstone will assist me. I think this is now the third day or the third local authority that I'm asking this question without getting a proper answer. Maybe Livingstone will help me.
On page 13.
Page 13, they are saying failure to spend on community projects. And the city council is indicating that one of the reasons was as a result of the lengthy procurement processes. Sir, in percentage terms, tell me to what extent were you delayed as Livingstone City Council to spend money on community projects? I want it in percentage terms because I've heard a number of local authorities talking about lengthy procurement procedures, and probably at what level? Is it from the local authority to Attorney General? Where exactly? And do you think there's anything that government can do to remove these bottlenecks in procurement so that people are able to get goods and services on time? Thank you, Chairman.
Maybe you deal with these two questions, then you have another two questions. Town Clerk.
Chair, indeed, the Auditor General was auditing our council, and our council is at liberty also to do a head count. But at this time, the Auditor General was on the ground, and they got the information that we had. But now they went physically to the school to do a head count themselves, away from what all others could have done. So at that particular point, that's when certain learners were not made available. And some documentary evidence was not availed to them. That's why this query could not be rested, Chair.
Thank you so much. TC, you know, if you carried out head count yourself as a council, you were going to know how many learners were at Libes, who is in which class, and who is in which semester. But you can see you are telling us that you are at liberty to do head count. Are you at liberty or you are mandated to do that before you do the payment for those particular learners? 1. 2, you can see here you paid 468,608 kwacha for 114 learners that were not in class. Even auditor also was able to approve that and it passed. For learners that were not in class. Is this what you do? Is this correct? Are you telling me that even if they were your own children, you would pay for them in term 1, they are not in class, even before a baby is born, you pay for them to say I'm paying for them at school from grade 7, or I mean at the university, even before they are born. Do you do that? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Before you respond on the same, at which point, Town Clerk, did you make this particular payment? Because for you to miss out and make a payment for up to 114 students. So I want to find out at which point did you make the payment to the institution, or on what basis did you make that payment?
Thank you, Chair. Actually, if you have seen on our remedial measures, we have referred to confirmation letters. I think we should admit at this point, actually, what we are doing, we would write the learning institution to confirm the learners who have been enrolled at that school. And then they would write back to us. When they write, at that point, we were using those confirmation letters to effect the payments. We were not doing the head counts, and we acknowledge that was a lapse.
But both the one that you are talking about now and the one that you use, they are still both wrong methods of making payments. That is not enough information. And if the school gives you more numbers like it has done, you will still go and pay. The ideal situation, before you pay, DF, internal audit. What is the internal audit? Internal audit and the procurement, the district planning officer, what is it? Before you make any payment, I think the clarification came even from the ministry, the guidance. At least you allow the students. You got the list from the CDF committee. You've got the acceptance letters that are coming from there. Armed with those two documents, you go to the institution and allow the students to be in class. When they're in class 14 days that they are given, it means now they have closed, the school has closed in terms of receiving students. That's at that hour. That's when you go there. Based on the register that is coming from school, the register. You get the register, then based on the register and your physical counting, then you give the school now to raise a quotation. Because I can come, there's a famous place here behind here, Matero. Somebody will come with a acceptance letter and you can still pay. Or somebody will generate a letter from here, I'm coming from Libes. You can still pay. You don't do that. Honorable Shagafuso and the Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, if you read the action taken report, report action, yes, on page 10. So they are saying that management made a follow-up with Libes and managed to collect documentary evidence indicating that 108 learners out of the 114 queried were enrolled in different intakes, as the school did not have enough space to accommodate them at once. What was the rationale of paying for students at once when the school didn't have the space?
You still go ahead and pay without space. Not Honorable Town Clerk. Hold on, Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, on the same.
Yes, please.
Just to further the point by Honorable Shagafuso, it says that as of December 2022, some learners had written the examination. Some of them had left the colleges. Now, Chair, what comes to me is that there was no physical check. Question.
Yes.
There was no physical check by this council. They were just paying. Now, I'm coming to the second paragraph, town clerk. Management further wishes to state that 6 learners have not been accounted for. Therefore, the school was requested to refund the council, and the school has since refunded an amount of 22,530 kwacha in respect of the 6 learners. At which point, this was after audit, and we refer to Appendix 7, Chairperson. We go, all of us, to Appendix 7.
Appendix 7.
The letter to the principal, Livingstone Institute of Basic Studies, or Business Studies, dated, town clerk, 27th December 2023. I'm sure that is after audit, isn't it? Yes. So, what was happening? What made you to wait? Had the auditors not visited, were you going to ask for this money? That's my question.
Town clerk.
Chair, as I've already indicated and acknowledged that there was a lapse, at this time, we were paying based on the confirmation letter from the learning institutions. We are not doing the head counts. And this happened before even the ministry wrote that letter guiding us. But that was a lapse which we have observed, and we have moved. Now, when the school confirmed that these learners are enrolled at our school, the impression that we had, we never did a head count, the impression that we had was that all the learners were taken at the same time in terms of sessions. We did not understand that actually they were staggered. So we came to learn of this after even the auditors had done their work when we went back.
Chair, thank you so much. You know, TC, why you didn't know is because you were not concerned. You didn't take heart to know whom you are supposed to pay for at which time. You were not concerned. You can even see here, the money for 2022 for these same learners has been paid back this year in 2024. It was paid back on the 18th of January 2024, just before you were coming in. In telling actually that TC, had the auditors not come there, this wouldn't have been rectified this way. So, Chair, I just wish to submit that the TC, I think, was not doing good in terms of monitoring these funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Singombe, if you comment there. Or is there another query?
Yes, Chair.
All right. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, TC. My preliminary observation is why has Livingstone City Council given us black and white pictures which we cannot appreciate? Because for us to know what it is, I think Livingstone cannot fail to give us colored, and I'm referring that to a grader that you have said you've procured. To me, it can be both old or new, because there's nothing that I can pick from there.
Yes, actually, just to add on what you are saying, Honorable Singombe, I was going to come to that.
I'm still asking, Chair. Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. I just wanted to know, in the previous question that you haven't even answered on procurement, Chair.
Yes.
I also want to know, as Livingstone City Council, how long did it take you to procure this grader? I know of certain local authorities, they've taken almost 12 months. People, constituencies are waiting for the equipment. So how long did it take? So maybe you can love to answer my procurement question and how long it took you,
Give
so
me
that I
this,
can
please.
appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, just before we lose track, Livingston City Council, I was going to mention that, I don't know how it escaped, only black and white. To us, that grader is an odd grader, unless you convince me otherwise. This is that picture is odd. You just picked it from a garage somewhere. Livingston, yeah, no, Livingston City Council, what we are getting now, something that is coming at the back of our minds is that there is laissez-faire towards work. One, you could not go nearby at the institution there. You could not do the due diligence within. I know if it was a workshop in Chipata, you would have gone there. If it was a workshop in Ndola, you would have gone there. Your friends are driving all the way from Solwezi to Livingston, the workshops. And then, even when you look at the appendices that you are giving us, look at the examples that you have. There is that one, Honorable Singombe. Is it Monze or Mazabuka? That one. They are nicely done, and you are able to follow. There is a query, appendix 7, you look at 7, you get. But this one, we have to start checking. You have to, it takes time for you to go and get the appendix where it is. All these, just nicely, you put up your report. A strong team from a strong local authority. It can just be doing things like that. That's why you say, even if we went there, we go with black and white, we'll tell them, they will apologize, they will accept. Local government, we made it very clear yesterday that in terms of documents that will resurface after the audit, we will not accept them. In terms of these black and white photos or pictures, next time we are not accepting. And we know that you are appearing for operations after. I just wanted to emphasize on the point that these pictures, at least it should, even a newly built classroom block, if you bring us a colored one, we'll say, oh, even the children are happy to go into it. But when it's black and white, you understand and you know what we are talking about. But if I ask you a question now, why didn't you do that? You say it was an oversight. That is what you learn from Jarimbana, local government. That's what you are teaching them. So please respond, Town Clerk, respond to Honorable Simombe. Or we just wanted to emphasize that so that we take care of that next time.
Well noted, Chair. We ensure that we do the right thing. Chair, in terms of the delays, in terms of percentage, I may not be in the position to give the percentage, but probably I can just give the problem really when it comes to procurement was with Secretary to the Treasurer clearance and the Attorney General clearance. And that is the issue I've handled actually. When you amended the Section 72, subsection 2, especially paragraph E of the Public Procurement Act, actually, that's what you addressed. And that rigidity has been removed, and we can assure you we'll move swiftly. And we commend you for that, honorable members of parliament, because that was really hampering development.
Town Clerk, you are speaking so well. What is it that you are offering as councils in terms of credibility and the trust that you are going to, even when government and the parliament is moving all these rigidities to ensure that these things are done? But if you look at the things that you are doing, Town Clerk, in this report, it's contrary to the expectations. Show your side that you are credible, you can do things properly. You only write a letter when the auditors have passed to Libes. Is the money safe in the hands of the councils? You are not demonstrating, few of you are not demonstrating the capacity to manage these resources. That's a comment I wanted to pass, because he's appreciating what the government is doing. But on the other hand, the government is not appreciating what they are doing.
So it should be a 50-50. Government is expecting too much, so much from you, and you have the qualifications, but you don't have the thing to do, the correct thing. Chair.
Okay, he's still responding. Eh? Are you still responding? Yes.
Yes, Chair. The other issue is for how long it took for us to procure a grader. Actually, it took almost a year.
Is that a brand new grader?
Yes, it is, Chair.
Brand new?
Brand new.
Oh. Okay.
It's borrowed.
Borrowed.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the process took long because...
hold on, I'm told you are using color pictures.
Chair,
I'm told you are using color pictures.
Yes
yes or no?
This one, yes, Chair. I was trying just to explain what happened.
Oh, I see.
When
so you are able to do that?
Yes, we are capable of doing that, Chair. That's why I apologized.
Let's continue.
Chair, in terms of procurement of a grader, it took us a long time. We could have procured it in 3 months, but after going through the first stage, where we invited the citizen bidders, that we couldn't get any successful bidder. So we had to re-advertise again so that we get local bidders. So it took us time actually to go through the same processes and same clearance by the Attorney General. But eventually we were able to do it, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Simombe.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just want to state that I really don't know at what point should Attorney General be drawn into this procurement delayment, because personally, I've taken documents, they are signed while seated in his office. What could be the problem with the Attorney General? Because I've seen on 2 occasions him signing, even telling the officers, why are you sending the members of parliament here? You are giving an impression as if we don't attend to you on time. He even told me, Honorable, can you go and do your job while I attend to this? So is it true that the Attorney General keeps a lot of time in ensuring that these documents are done on time?
Thank you, Chair. I think that's that was happening, Chair. You know, the problem was that instead of Attorney General handling high-value contracts, Attorney General was made to handle even low-value contracts, which you have now, through the amendment, actually corrected. Most of these contracts we are procuring for under simplified bidding because they were below 1 million. But we were made to go all the way to the Attorney General. And the entire country was going there. So it became a problem. I would like to believe that with what you have done, even Attorney General will be able to respond within a short period of time, because it's just high value contracts which will be taken to that office for clearance.
Honorable, I'm sorry, Honorable. I'll come back to you. Yes, Honorable Secretary.
Yeah, on the same, for me, I think the query is the delayed completion of the grading of roads. You have the money in the account and you have the equipment. Without us looking at who else delays the process, Livingstone City Council has the equipment and the money. Why did it take you so long to complete these works? You are saying that the earth-moving equipment was breaking down. Have you attached anything to show truly that you were repairing this equipment? I've not seen any purchase of any receipts to support any purchase of spares or any other equipment to show that indeed your earth-moving equipment was broken down. I don't want us to accuse Attorney General or any other office. You have allocated money for Livingstone to do roads. and you procure materials. 4 months later, you don't do the job. What could be the problem?
Page 2, isn't it? Yes. Which resources did the council use to complete the roadworks? Because at the time of audit, all the monies were exhausted. Then in the project verification report, it's not signed. How do we?
Town clerk.
Chair, when we secured approvals, we started working on the roads. But then it was time to work on this road. Other roads we are working on them, and the equipment, because it's old, kept breaking down, and we are repairing. Although, the chair, I should admit, we have not attached any evidence here. But actually, this led even to us varying the budget for the council because the expense was too high. Now, when we paid for fuel, the materials in question here is fuel. We had started even the grading and other works. Then again, the equipment was down. And this was in the rain season, actually. So we are trying we repaired, but again, you have to negotiate with the rains. So it became complicated. Otherwise, if you had equipment which was up to very reliable, could have easily completed within the time we had planned.
Did I hear you say you negotiate with the rains?
Chair, what I meant actually is if it's raining, you are not working because you have to wait for the ground to a
but
bit.
It's not negotiating. Just say rain season you don't work every day because people listening out there, they want to learn from Livingstone how you negotiate with the rain. Okay, his question is not answered.
My question was, at the time of audit, all the resources allocated to these projects or this project were exhausted, and the works were still outstanding. Huge scope was still outstanding. Then you came later, and you are saying that you completed the works. Which variation did you do, or which money did you use to complete the works when the monies were exhausted? Second, what is your comment on this report that is not signed? How authentic is it?
It's only
Chair.
Appendix 1.
Oh, sorry.
Appendix 1. This is Appendix 1.
Chair, actually, the engineer signed the report, but in terms of the materials, the honorable is asking because the auditor, they looked at what was allocated and what was spent, but not the materials utilized because the fuel was still at the filling station where we were drawing. We had paid the filling station. So when we repaired the equipment, we continued withdrawing the fuel, which is the material being referred to here, to continue to complete the works.
For my friends, the auditors picked materials, and I'm sure the materials they picked was fuel. What the amounts allocated, meaning that they checked you had exhausted the materials for the project, meaning the same fuel. And if we say auditors are saying you had exhausted the project amounts, maybe we ask the auditors what they meant. We could be making allegations. Because what if they say they exhausted and you say no, the materials in question is fuel. Fuel was still there. What is it that was exhausted?
Auditors, do you have any comment? Do you have any comment, auditors? Not as, all right. Town clerk, you can ask your members to help you.
Chair, I just wanted to refer to the Auditor General's report.
Okay, maybe before you refer us, Auditor General, have a comment?
Okay, thank you, Chair. On the amount spent, the whole amount had already been paid to the filling station. However, there was still a balance that had not been utilized at the time of the audit. I submit.
Honorable Nyambose, did you get that? Okay, all right. Okay, we have a question from Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. On the same 4-kilometer road in Simonga Ward, to my knowledge, CDF has two accounts, namely the main account and the revolving account. Council allocated 228,976 towards the rehabilitation of this road. The source of funds for this particular road, is it from the CDF? Because you are referring to this as a force account. Use the force account because the force account needs to be funded. So is it funding from the CDF? And is it from the main account or the revolving account? And it is transferred to what you call a force account, particularly for this road. And then in your preamble on the same page, the materials for the works were procured on 31st October 2022. You needed to be very categorical. What type of materials are you talking about? Are we talking about materials that are supposed to be used permanently on the works? Because when I look at the scope of work for this particular road, you don't need to buy materials for the road because it's just regraveling. So the materials for the works were procured on 31st October. So it gives an impression that materials for the road that would be used permanently on the road were procured, and yet you could not go to implement the works. So what materials are you referring to that were bought on 31st October? The last question on the same one is similar to what Boshaka Fushwa asked. The main reason for the delay of the works is due to the status of the grader. Where is the proof? Or, okay, how much money was spent on repairing the grader? So that we compare with these so-called materials, because from the auditor you're saying they paid only fuel. But what about the spare parts repairing the grader? What is the cost? And do you have any evidence with you?
Town clerk, okay, you can answer those questions.
Chair, the material in question is fuel, because we are using council equipment to mobilize other materials like gravel. So once you have fuel, then we are able to mobilize other materials using our equipment. Then in terms of the method that we used, the force account here, Chair, we are just referring to the method that we use, not that we opened a separate account, but we were procuring the fuel, then implementing instead of engaging a contractor outsourcing. That's what we mean here, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Chair, delayed completion of construction of Lizuma drainage. On page 4, Chair. On 8th November 2022, the council engaged Kamaz Investments Limited for the construction of a 70-meter drainage in the Zuma ward at a contract price of 174,504. As at 28th February 2023, the contractor had been paid amounts totaling 95,627. A physical inspection carried out in February 2023 revealed that the project had not been completed 6 weeks after the expected completion date. Outstanding works were compaction of 14 meters of the drainage. It was also observed that there was poor workmanship in that there were cracks that had developed along the wall of the drainage and the sections at the compaction of the drainage. Further, the purpose of constructing the drainage, which was to stop rainwater from damaging the road, had not been achieved, as it was observed at the time of audit inspection that the road had been damaged despite the drainage having been constructed. That is the auditor. And they have shown the cracks on the walls of the same drainage. I've seen the action taken that you terminated the contract of the said contractor. Did you ever engage this contractor before termination, or did you write any letter of warning or that contractor to come and redo the works? Were you also monitoring this project with the engineering or planning department? Those are my questions.
Thank you.
I have not seen the letters. I need to be guided by you which appendix, the letters of warning before termination.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much. It's just a follow-up under the same. This contract was terminated at a financial progress of 55%. You had paid 55% of the contract sum to the contractor before termination, and the physical the physical progress was at 80%, because the time the auditors came, the contractor was remaining with 14 meters of the drainage, so which means he did 80% of the works. So 80% of the works, and only paid 55% of the works financial progress. What was the closing account? Because the financial progress and the physical progress do not match. The second question is, you were saying that council now took over after terminating the contract. Council took over using force account to complete the works. Why would council use force account to complete the works that were under full contract? What is the source of funding for the outstanding works which you are doing as per now? And what happened to the balance of the money that you recovered from the contractor? Was the contractor treated fairly when he did 80% of the physical progress and he was only paid 55%, and then you terminate the contract and then you go further to use force account to do the works, incurring costs of implementing the physical works as well as consumables, because you are now using your grader, consumables for graders and labor and so on and so forth. So if you carry out the cost for doing the outstanding works, it's much above the cost that the contractor would have done to finish the project when he had done 80% of that. What is your explanation on that?
Just in addition to the question that Honorable Nyambose posed, when you look at what the Auditor General is bringing out is poor workmanship. And, you know, I'm saddened because I keep on going to the same thing. When you look at this particular crossing point, it's within reach. Even before you are given the monitoring vehicle, this is where the Director of Works would be going. I mean, Director Engineering would go every day. But for the auditors to come and discover something is cracking And there is a local authority that has given a contract that is supposed to be always keeping its eye on it. You were here, I'm sure, or you heard the president when he was addressing at Mulungushi a few weeks ago. He lamented that the use of CDF was at 57%. By and large, it's because of teams like the Livingston City Council team. How can a new reconstructed drainage, which was meant to protect the road from the damage, and the road is being damaged right now because that particular project, it was cracking. And it took the auditors to come and see that where was the engineering department to see that, because every step that they are doing, the engineers are supposed to be there so that they even sign the payment certificate. So at times we are taken aback and we should, the government has put and has increased every year increasing monies so that the service is delivered to the people, but people are still suffering in the midst of the plant. Yes, I was just trying to.
Chair, on the contractor and the termination, according to what the Honorable Doctor submitted, I note that this contract was terminated on the 28th of February. And the contractor was not given the letter. February, March, April. He was only given the letter of termination in May, according to Appendix 2, which you have attached. That is when the contractor acknowledged that he had received the contract. When do you take over the site? Is it upon the contractor acknowledging receipt of termination, or you go ahead and take over the contract upon the date that you write the contract? I want to understand. I thank you, Chair.
Town Clerk. Yes.
Chair, under one component, then the director engineering will go down.
Yes.
There is a question why we opted to use force account when initially this was put on a full contract. Actually, we opted to use force account looking at the balances that we had, but also looking at the time it would take to execute this work. If we were to go through the lengthy procurement processes. So looking at the amount involved, we opted that we could just handle it as a council. But also, Chair, I want to mention that there were so many contractors who were on the ground, and there were so many contractors who were making mistakes and corrected. Those who are willing to be corrected, we never terminated their contracts because they could correct and we move on. But we had a challenge with this contractor. That's why we opted just as a last resort to terminate the contract.
You're saying, from page 5, works coupled with poor workmanship and failure to execute corrective instructions. Can you show us any letter that you wrote to the contractor to warn the contractor of the shoddy works and what defect corrective measures you are proposing? Now, this also goes to the same way that did you even write a letter to warn the contractor about pending termination of the contract? And here, the main reason for why he terminated the contract was that he was not following your instructions to warn him about the shoddy works. But there's no, I've perused through Appendix 1. There's not any single letter at any one time that Director Works informed the contractor of the shoddy works to warn him. What is your explanation on that?
Town Clerk? Or maybe Director Engineering?
Sorry, Chair, maybe on just the warning letter, I will speak to the warning letter. We actually noticed that we omitted one of the documents which we should have included in the bundle. And we made an effort to supply the same document yesterday. I don't know whether the committee became aware of that.
We don't have, what we have is what is on this patch, on the report.
Yesterday, I made some comments, and I'm making observations, and these are coming to pass. There is a temptation by councils to unfairly blame contractors who cannot defend themselves. The doctor's question is, when you undertook, before termination, you already applied the force account. We have read this. There is goodwill from the council. Maybe you are trying to show that you have the capacity. A contractor is given, a project is contracted, within a short period, force account. Why don't you take up these projects before contracting them? Maybe it could be cost effective using your own resources, which you have demonstrated you have. But to be unfair to a contractor and label that contractor to be someone who doesn't listen to instructions, despite several reminders and in writing, you moved in. Why did you move in earlier than before termination?
Just go ahead, answer those other questions. I'm waiting for responses from there.
Actually, Chair, we had a problem actually getting in touch with this contractor. Apparently, he was out of town, and if you have seen that actually had driven our commencement of the works, because it delayed us until we are able to save him. That's when we took over the site. Actually, we even delayed starting the works as a result.
Yes, there are questions to the direct engineering. In terms of monitoring, at what point did you discover the poor workmanship?
Chair, there were a number of monitoring visits that we undertook to the site. There was one major problem with
and just there, those men, you could not detect anything as an engineer with the technical eyes. You could not see that what they are doing. Because just from, if I find somebody is building a bricklayer, at times I don't need to put is it the level or what? I would see that this thing is not going anywhere. So in your main occasions that you have visited, you could not detect that what they are doing was not the right thing. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair. So the cracks, or rather the poor workmanship that was noted, mostly was due to poor compaction of the subbase that was underlying on the drainage, because the place is a little bit sandy. So you could actually test the compaction at first, but then after it is built, you find that because of the underground water that is moving, the subbase becomes quite loose at some point. Then we redirected we issued an instruction to the contractor informing him of how that could be remedied or rectified. But unfortunately, the contractor himself wasn't on site, and we only had a word with the foreman. So there was issues, of course, to communicate with the contractor himself, because on site we could only issue instructions to the foreman, who more or less would understand some instructions, sometimes would not. So these were the issues that we incurred as challenges with the contractor. And later on, we issued an instruction that was circulating, informing him to rectify those measures, and then he verbally refused to attend to those, which prompted us to terminate the contract and rather attend to it force accountly.
So for how long,
Thank you very
just
much.
before my colleague comes in, for how long have you been waiting for him to return to site, and you have been leaving wait? For how long was he absent from site? Okay. Okay, before you respond, yes, Honorable Shakafus.
Yes, Chair, I wanted to refer to the addendum document that has been circulated. It's dated 17th February. Did you deliver these instructions to the contractor?
Thank you very much, Chair. The instructions were delivered to the contractor.
Where is the acknowledgement here? Maybe you can show us on the original that he acknowledged this instruction. Because there's a tendency of watching us here and you realize, oh, we didn't do a good job, then we go and make a document, backdate it, and we want to present it here as evidence of having issued instruction. So if you gave him this document, where is the acknowledgement? Show us.
Director Engineering, do you have the acknowledgement, acknowledged document?
Thank you very much, Chair. As well, like I mentioned in the preamble, that the contractor was very difficult to reach. We opted to write him that letter so that the foreman would just deliver it to him as soon as he gets there. Unfortunately, he did not sign on the acknowledgement, rather on the termination letter.
Where did you get this particular contractor? Because I'll still come, because in Livingston, I think we have a problem on the contractors. Procurement, you're not doing the best there. Before I
he says, at first he says he answered verbally. He responded verbally. I quoted you. Then second, he said this person was difficult to reach. Which one do we pick? And as per standard, Honorable Shakafuso has asked, when you deliver a letter to a credible contractor, is supposed to acknowledge. Councils, when they deliver the letters, they have a register where they sign. Can you show us that register? Assuming the last one, Chair, because this thing, Chair, watch it. They are washing on the contractors who cannot present themselves. And lucky, we are denting the image of these contractors out there, destroying their names when the issue could have been on our part. What would you do, Director, if one day soon this contractor resurfaces and says, I was unfairly treated by this council? What do you think the authority should do to you if he comes, that all this that you are giving to us is not as the way you are? Because these are Zambians. We are dealing with people, we should respect them. So they are not present during these sessions, and now we have become, that is our lien. So what would happen to you, Director? You should be put on record. If this contractor says all these things that Shakafuso and the others have asked were unfair treatment on his part, what would the authority do? Thank you. In case we subpoena him, or he comes on his own.
Town Clerk?
Chair, we did our best. When we arrived at a decision to terminate a contract.
But that's not the best. That one I would wish you don't mention that your best. Yeah, that you did your best is not the best. Okay, go ahead.
What I was saying, Chair, is when we reach at termination as the best option, then it means we will have tried all other options and we feel we are not going anywhere. And if this contractor is able to challenge us either here or in court, Chair, we are ready to take him on, because really we tried to exercise the actually lenience on
the other question I asked you, is the contractor from within the district? Because I want to understand why it's so difficult to find.
From the record that we have, the documents are showing is from Livingston.
From Livingston?
Yes, Chair.
Have you had any point, or one of you seen his workshop or his workplace where this company is in Livingston?
Personally, Chair, no. Maybe
Because
my
from the
colleagues.
correspondence that you have with the contractor, at least there is a physical address there which you can follow. When somebody becomes, there's a problem like this, and you want auditors, you want to be on the safe side even when auditors come. You go, even with this document, and you go to the place that he has indicated that's where he comes from, so that at the end of the day, whatever you are saving to him, somebody should sign from that end. So this could be Chimutengo contractor or something like that. No fixed abode. Anyway, Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. This contractor, has he ever done some work with the Livingston City Council before? If he has not done that, if he has not done works before, how did you evaluate him to be the best evaluated bidder based on other selection criteria like experience in past works and so on and so forth? So, was he a predetermined bidder for this particular contract? And I'm very serious concerning the misappropriation of funds, which I can call it. The contractor was only paid 55%, and then you went to use the first account to complete the works. At what cost did you, I mean, how much did it cost for you to complete the works, so that we compare with the remaining funds on the contractor's contract?
Town Clerk.
Chair, I will allow my colleague to respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. On the financial progress payment and the physical progress payment tallying, it is not always the case that these two should tally. Usually we make payments based on the rates and the BOQs that were submitted by the contractor. So you find that sometimes maybe most of the works being excavation and the likes would have carried less amounts than the final output, which is mostly concrete. So you find that he's progressed more meters in excavation than he has done on the concrete works. So you find that we pay based on the mileages that he has done and on the rates that are in the contract. So the final account, which is also supposed to be agreed upon with the contractor, does not always physically tally with the financials, saying 50% paid and 50% on the ground done. No, it can be he has done more mileage on excavation and the like differently, but based on what he has done, you tick out and then you pay. Maybe at that point it reached 50%. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Shaka Fuso, as we conclude.
Yes, my last question, Chair, is that we ask these questions wanting to know if what was spent was within the contract or it costed more on the part of government. Because what is happening is you local authorities are delaying to spend funds, which funds could have been spent at the time the exchange rate was okay. I'll give you an example of procurement of a grader. Those that started in 2022, and if you didn't buy in 2022, you actually buy at double the price now, and you find that the delay is caused by the officers. And so you find that even in this case, you may have spent more on this project than if it was done timely. So the issue here is the prudent use of public resources, because now we are spending more than what should have spent because of lack of seriousness, lack of monitoring by officers. And this is what we are trying to avoid. And that is the message you need to pick. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Livingston City Council, we want to thank you for making the appearance before this committee. But maybe before I say that, Livingston City Council made the headlines a few days ago on the desks that everybody else has done, that Livingston has not. Procurement, head of procurement, what's your comment on that? Because you have those desks, I don't know how many, whether they are more than 5,000, people are given advances. That's what I'm saying, we have a problem with the companies in Livingston. Given advances, but as I think it's for, if my memory serves me well, you should do, I think you only have about 500 plus desks out of 5,000, and you have a number of companies, and those companies have been given advances, and the president said by the end of this year, all the desks issues should be concluded. Livingston, you made the headlines. Where are you now? Head of procurement. Through you, town clerk, I want to hear what they are doing on the desks. Because after next month, you are coming here in April. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Oh, thank you, Chair. The issue about desks in Livingston, the correct position is that the desks in question are for 2023 CDF. And what happened was the contractors, not all of them got the advance payment. A few that, I think, if my memory serves me well, I think we have, should be 5 or so that got the advance payment, and the advance payment was accompanied by advance bond, Chair. Now, we've gone around, they've done the flames. The suppliers in Livingston have done the flames. Now they are claiming that because it's raining and if they use the wet timber, the desk may, when the timber dries up, the timber may warp. So probably that is the issue. But of course, others have delivered, they've started delivering the desk, Chair. So that is the position on the ground, Chair.
So from that time up to date, when it has just started raining, it was raining in Livingston, I think auditors should be taking keen interest on some of these things. Chair, you should have periodical. Yes, yes.
Quite interesting. Treated timber, whether exposed to rains, it doesn't warp. This is a concern.
Those are stories, yeah.
Those stories should not be encouraged. A contract has timelines. Those whom you gave advances, even those who didn't give advances, they are given this contract you have signed is for this period. Are they delivering the numbers, and are they going to reach the timelines that you have agreed? So those are the issues. When the public is speaking or is talking, take interest. I said earlier, you know, I speak like with the emotions because I'm a council employee throughout. I've worked in the council. I was in the unions. I used to battle with the people in management. The problem is once you are called director chair, you become executive. You don't want to see what is happening. You just receive reports, not in local government. This man knows. He worked very well in Nyimba. He was #1. He built those houses. We had Wanga Kapumpa, who never used to wear a uniform. When he's at the council, he's in a work suit. And that's how you, but the moment you want to receive reports, monitoring will not happen. You're waiting for juniors. What you are saying is, commission bringing more people to be helping you so that you are just seated in the offices. Even those desks, you're not supposed to speak for the contractors. Why? Your role is to give them a contract and deliver. You go and inspect the flames. What you want is a finished product. It is delivered within the timelines. So the people of Livingston, the people of Zambia, they are looking at these councils. Are they delivering accordingly? So, Mbarakata, take interest. What is happening? DF, you were in Ndola. You are now in Livingston. Is it Ndola you were? Yes. Do something. Don't be executive in these councils. The president is in gear 5. The councils are in the gear 1. How do you expect a vehicle? Mwasala, you've been in problems. So we speak with these emotions. We receive a lot of information. Change your way of working in the councils. Work attitude should change. Be on the ground. Don't be standing on the contractors, defending them. When you want to use a false account, you are in a hurry. What is the interest? And when you are using a false account, mind, there's money coming from general fund. That you cannot dispute. It's not only CDF. You're getting money from general fund to use on CDF. So using the false account usually on CDF projects, there is a temptation some monies are coming from there. Allowances sometimes they're coming not from CDF. So mind what you are doing. We are aware. This committee is well vested. This one is the local government, everyone. We are councillors by virtue of us being MPs. So we are concerned. Livingstone, be a model. We want to see in this country model councils that others will go and see. We are the Siwakwis of this world. Alice Mwinga, you talk about them. But not the current corrupt chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, people get emotional over these. You can imagine the member of parliament for Livingstone Central, Honorable Sikumba, who sits with the president when the president is saying, I want the desks delivered. Him is next here, and he has not delivered. And when you have this burning rate, you look at the percentage of Livingstone, and you look at the name that is put against that burning rate. It's not Mr. Mambaragat. It's not you, Momba. It's the member of parliament. That's the name. He's not the one. He's the one now. When that news was running, people are calling him. What are you doing? What is happening in Livingstone? They are calling him. But you have a team. But like my colleague is putting, we have information about these local authorities, even individuals in these local authorities, even Livingstone. The procurement system in Livingstone, the engineering department, the finance department, all those people, you must work as a team. But we might have an inch of what we are able to present. We might have an inch more of what you can present to us. We are not very happy. I have the list of those people that you gave as contractors for desks. I have a list, and I've seen some names. I think they are just relatives. They are there. Whether it's just a coincidence of names, but they are there. Auditors can find those. I know the nation is listening. I have seen. But we must do the right thing. Above all, we must deliver service, because you are the primary role of local authorities is to deliver service. And make sure that we do not just be in office. That's why I was saying, town clerk, for you to drive up to Libes, 5 minutes or less, you are there. Do your job, you are back. Of course, you might not go there, but there is a department. There are people that are responsible. The audit, DPO, finance, they can do that. They get information so that at the end of the day, the town clerk has the information on his fingertips. Everything should be there. So let's work as a team. I remember last time we came as a committee, we went to check on. I wouldn't be surprised to find that one of these drainages we are looking at, maybe that one, somewhere close at DC. Is it one of them? Look at that. We went there a long time ago. But service delivery, and the money has been increased in between. The vehicle is there to monitor. The administrative component is there. But how fast they put in fuel in the Land Cruiser or their vehicles when there is a workshop in Dola, in Ikitwe, above all the famous Charimbana. They are camped there. And you know, this is one thing that at times the committee gets emotional about. Because they are all in Charimbana. They are even seeing what we are doing. Every day they are watching. Please don't bring black and white. They are watching. Tomorrow they will come. And they will sit here, they are watching, and then when they come in here under this roof, they will say it was an oversight. So,
the Ministry of Local Government is helping them to answer queries.
Oh, yeah.
The other side, the president says prudence use of these resources. And these officers, they go against the guidelines, then the ministry or Chalimbana, which is under the ministry, is helping them to respond to these queries. This query go and answer like this, encouraging them. They cannot change, Chair. And you see what is happening, Chair. There is a template in the way they are responding question by question. I will be marking them. You see, I told you that these receipts, they will come. During the audit, those vouchers were not available. During this time, they have found them. So I will be telling you this one is a same, they are watching the same template. So we are not helping the other side, we are not helping the president and the government. We are helping them to answer, to find solutions. So they will mess up things, for lack of a better word, knowing that they will be helped how to respond. And they know that this committee has no powers to do anything, but just to see, caution them. Caution them. We regret. Becomes
Thank you.
academic.
So we wish to urge you to work very hard. We appreciate and we depend on you as drivers of development across the country as local authorities. And if you are not helping the president, if you are not helping us and helping everybody, it means service delivery will not be there. But I can assure you that we will not sit back and just recommend people to say, no, these people, this is what they did. We want to see change. We want to see change. A lot. I don't know why Livingstone is like that. Sometimes, sorry, I go out of my way to speak about the cities like Livingstone, Ndola, Chipata, Kitwe, you know, Lusaka. At least Lusaka, maybe because a lot. But all these cities, if you want to find a mess, you go to one of these cities. All these cities, she knows. She was at Ndola City Council when they gave each other, directors gave each other, for the Rangers. They are fired and they want to go with them. So I'm not condemning you officers, but I want to encourage you to work very hard. But above, we will not spare you. That you should have it at the back of your mind. That when you do something wrong, we will not pamper you, we will talk to you. And we will advise you, and we want to make sure that you do the right thing. At this point, let me withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at the beginning of this meeting, and wish you well as you drive back to Livingstone. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. worship you. I worship you. You are here, here in every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. We make a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. We make a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. Jesus, you wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. To it all. Jesus, yeah. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every life. I worship you. Boshadadabakasa. I worship you. You are here, meeting every need. I worship you. I worship you. Oh, de amazeke ame.
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you. Ms. Chrysosta Halwindi is Kabwe Central Member of Parliament under the United Party for National Development UPND in Central Province. She is the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Sport, Youth and Child Matters, and she also sits on the Committee on National Guidance and Gender Matters. She is cool, calm and collected.
My name is, let me say out my name, is Chrysosta Halwindi Piri. Halwindi is my maiden name, and Pili is for my husband. I was born in Monze, in a little village called Hakwambwa, and I did my primary school at Hakwambwa Primary School. My parents are Mr. Noah Machila Halwindi and Berita Halwindi. I was born in 1971. And then in a family of, I'll say, as at now, we should be around 14, but from my mother and my real mother and father, we are only 6. We were 6, let me say so, because I was number 60th. It is being 3 male and 3 female. Unfortunate as at now, we lost 2 brothers, so I remain with only 1 brother and 3 sisters. So I'm the last born in the family of mother and a dad. So I went to, as I said, primary school at Hakwamba Primary School, and then the secondary school I went to St. Joseph Secondary School in Mwanze district also, where I did my grade 8 up to grade 12.
Ms. Halwindi has a bachelor's degree in business administration and entrepreneurship and has several courses in road maintenance and supervision from the National Council for Construction. Ms. Halwindi once worked as a nurse but decided to go on early retirement and joined the private sector.
I went to UTH and did my nursing, registered nursing. So that was my first profession as a registered nurse. I only served in the government as a registered nurse for, let me say, 3 years. And then I decided to go when the government brought the voluntary separation where I want to voluntarily retire. I retired. I only served for 3 years. Of course, it was not easy because at that time, I think the directors, my superiors, the matrons really wanted me to continue with my profession. But I think my heart was in the private sector. So I decided to stop. Then I started doing business. In the private sector, first when I just stopped working as a nurse, of course I started doing trading. I had a shop and also supply. And then I decided to also diversify in the business I was doing. So I joined the construction industry where I registered my company to be doing construction works. Of course, that called for me also to make sure that I train so that I got the knowledge of how to do the bidding. So I trained. My first course, I went to National Council for Construction and did labor-based supervision works. At the time I had my second born child, Tangaweka, was just 5 months old. So I went for training. Even I went for doing practicals in the bush with my little baby, the baby boy. So I managed, I did that. And the other courses that I did, and a lot of courses, about 7 or so courses in construction industry and certificates in that. So that's what I did. And of course, I started the first year I registered my company. I think I won the first contract. So I've been in construction industry.
She's married and has 5 children.
I've got 5 children. 3 are male, 2 are girls. My firstborn is in Kitwe, Rajesh Harwindi Piri. Of course, he did grade 12, but and the few courses in construction industry. He's also in the private life. He's just doing business. And my second born is Tangaweka Piri, who is doing his grade 12. My third born is Noah Piri. He's at Grandview doing his grade 10. Then the last borns are twins. They're girls, Swangere Piri and Mafunase Piri. They're doing grade 8. My husband is Mr. Gordon Piri. He's retired. He used to work for prisons. Right now he's just doing business also.
Ms. Halwindi joined politics in 2010, mainly inspired by her husband, who was a member of UNIP.
Politics, I think it started in 2010, let me say. Of course, my husband, he was a UNIP member where he tried, of course, to stand as an MP. Of course, he didn't make it. From there, because I was helping him much, I developed the interest. So during the time of MMD, I was adopted as a councillor in the High Ridge. Of course, that was the time with the transition when PF came into power. So I lost the seat. From there, because also in the construction industry, now they voted me in to be the chairperson in the province for all the contractors. So that position calls for some, but not to be political. Of course, I toned down in issues to do with politics. Of course, I was helping the party, of which I joined UPND. I was helping UPND, the party I joined, at least silently. Well, I continued now heading the province as the chairperson for the contractors in the province. I think later on also I was also chosen as a vice president under NAMSEC, which is the National Association for Small and Medium Contractors, as heading the women wing contractors. So in 2020, let me say in 2021, I was approached that I think there was a candidate who was earmarked to stand as a candidate in Kabwe Central constituency, who unfortunately, may so rest in peace, he passed on. And then I was approached, please, we have a vacancy here. Would you want to stand as an MP? After praying, I think I was so convinced that I think I need to take it on. That's why I accepted. So I came on board to stand.
And how was it when you won?
Well, of course, it was something that was, I'll say, so nice. I don't believe in failure when I make up in my mind that I want to take on this. So it's something that during my time of prayer, campaigning, I was so convinced in my spirit that I'm going to win.
Growing up among boys helped build her strong character, hence being a female parliamentarian does not intimidate her.
No, I don't feel intimidated. Actually, as I've said, in my growing up, I said I grew up with among the boys. And I could do activities that the boys could do. I could go to look after cattle, even those activities that young men do, like trapping birds, swimming, climbing trees, all those things for me, they are part of me. So I think I grew up a person who is blended or groomed to be co-equal to a man. So what men can do, I believe even a woman can do. So for me, I'm not intimidated, and I feel we can do what men do. We learning from my profession in the private sector, where I was the chairperson for all the contractors. Many women, even the construction industry, they think it's for men. But as for me, I'm a contractor, leading even the contractor in the province during that time before I was elected in. And I did very well as a woman contractor. So even now, I believe what men can do, we can still do. So there's nothing that demarcates that this is what a woman can do, this is what women can do. We can all do. We can coexist and do all what men can do also.
She gets a lot of support from the people of Kabwe constituency and her party.
Yeah, of course, it's not easy. May I say that even now, I know that back in the constituency, there are so many people who are again strategizing themselves, wanting to pull the only woman that will. By the way, I'm the first woman in my constituency, to be voted in as a woman. The only woman who have so far been the first one. People are again trying to pull me back. It's not easy, but of course I can say again there are good people again who are supporting. Of course, when you're I'm here in the constituency, they'll be able to tell you, okay, ma'am, here you need to do this. Here where there's a need for there, but the support is there. I'm receiving support. Even here, I wouldn't say there's no support, despite that I've mentioned that in the committees you find you are second, but I'm receiving that support. You have given responsibility. Sometimes when we sit at caucus meetings as UPND, they will give you such, okay, do the secretarial work, help us to correct this. So the support is there. Also, even back in the constituency, people come on board to say that, no, we want to make sure that when you are in Lusaka, at least you are back here, will be doing some works that you are supposed to be doing. I have a task force where, of course, they are checking on the projects when I'm not here, I'm not in the constituency. So that's the support that I'll say I'm receiving. And of course, when you go to these offices, there's a project that you'd want to do. I can cite an example. In Unikabwe, the roads are very bad. But then I looked at it, what happens, the only contract that we had, the contract was, I think, on the verge of being terminated. And I said, this is not good for us, we need roads. And then I wrote a letter to Minister of Infrastructure. I said, oh, please, can you help us to do, at least to have a package under dual carriageway. It was received so well, and they said they instructed RDA, said, okay, make sure that at least you design that at least you should give at least 20 kilometers of bituminous roads in Kabwe Central constituency. Of which I said, this is of course the support that I want is people to support me in terms of development in the constituency.
Ms. Halwindi says her husband has been a pillar of strength.
The support that I have first is from my family, because my husband allowed me to stand. And after winning, he has continued to support me, to make me that I have to be in the parliament when the parliament session is on, and also in the constituency that I need to attend to the electorates. So I've received a tremendous support from him. As a woman, you have to be there for your husband and the family. But he had foregone his time for me to be with him. And they said, go ahead. Each time I'm supposed to, I needed here, I have to be here. When I need to be in the constituency, he knows that I have to be in the constituency to do parliamentary work and check on the developmental works in my constituency.
She now talks about what she does when she's not doing parliamentary work.
Okay, when I'm just at home relaxing, we do farming. I go to the farm to check what is happening at the farm. And of course, we see a few developmental issues, projects we are building some houses. I also go to check, counter check what is happening with the projects, yes. But mainly it's to do with farming.
What do you grow?
Yes, it's maize, soybeans, groundnuts. But at the moment, I'm trying to embark on, of course, doing economical trees. I'm planting moringa trees, and I've planted the pepper, piri piri, all that. And I'm also trying to bring on board this what you call dragon fruits. These are fruits that we do not even grow in Zambia, but I'm trying to bring them on board also with my partners to make sure that it encourage people in the constituency to grow at a larger scale so that we can be able to export.
She now has a word of advice to women who want to join politics.
I want to encourage our fellow women. The representation in Parliament right now in terms of women is so bad, it's so low. So we are calling upon so many women to come on board. You know, this time where I want to carry, if in my constituency, for example, I only have one councillor out of 29 councillors. Starting even from local government level, councillors, we need many women to come on board. You know, when we have all the problems that we have in the country, if things are not going on well, the first person to be affected is a woman. So if we are many women in Parliament, we'll be able to support even the policies that supports women. For example, right now we are saying we want to raise even the marriage, where somebody can be only eligible to get married at 18 years. Of course, that's what the Marriage by Act says. But I guess customary, anybody can get married at a lower age. We are trying to support that, If we are men, women, when you bring such emotions on the floor, they can be supported very well. Because we understand we are women, and when your daughter is just at home doing nothing, bringing children married at a tender age, it's us women who feel it, So I'm encouraging women to come on board. They shouldn't fear. Actually, this time, the political will is very good supporting the women because the violence levels, at least they are getting down. Our president does not support, violence, behavior. So we are calling upon women that let us not be in our homes. I know there are very good women, potential women, well educated, who can help us, to make sure that even when we are debating in the parliament where a woman speaks, there is always that, what you are speaking, because you are speaking what you experience. When I'm talking about having a clinic or a maternity wing in that clinic, I know what I'm talking about as a woman, because I know what I undergo through when I go to labor. If the roads are not okay, I know as a woman I'm in labor, I need to be taken to the hospital. I know how I feel. I'm in pain. And then there's I'm being traveling on a road which is so bumpy. I know what I'm feeling. So as a woman, really, we really need to take the front row to make sure that we are in the in parliament or in decision-making positions so that we are able to defend what we really affects us.
Ms. Chrysosta Halwindi believes women need to be in decision-making positions in order for them to contribute to the country's development.
Research is essential for expanding knowledge, driving innovation, informing decision-making, promoting economic growth, and fostering personal and professional development. It is for this reason that the National Assembly of Zambia held this year's 4-day research fair under the theme Leveraging Constituency Offices as Research Satellites for Enhanced Data Collection at Parliament Buildings from 21st to 24th November 2023. The research fair was divided in different categories, starting with a masterclass that had participation of 50 selected constituency officers. Deputy Clerk Procedure of the National Assembly of Zambia, Mrs. Cecilia Sikatele Mambwe, stated that the theme for the 4-day research fair signified the important role constituency officers play in sharing essential information. She was speaking during the official opening of the masterclass.
I believe that this will ultimately promote efficiency and effectiveness in the execution of parliamentary functions. In view of the foregoing, it is evident that this masterclass is very important for your work. As such, I would like to urge you all to fully apply yourselves and engage with the resource persons that have been purposefully selected to facilitate this important training. This will help to ensure that the objectives of your training are achieved. Let me take this opportunity to thank our cooperating partners for their unwavering support to the National Assembly, who have made the holding of this masterclass and the research fair possible. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the financial assistance we have received from the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, based in Geneva, and our locally based organization, the Civil Society for Poverty Reduction, CSPR, for making this masterclass possible. To our cooperative partners here present, we are very grateful.
And Ms. Elsie Simpamba, Acting Principal Clerk of the Parliamentary Research Department, in her welcoming remarks, encouraged participants to fully participate in the research fair.
We are very excited that with the support of management, as a department, we are finally realizing our goal of working closely with the constituency officers as research satellites. We are very grateful for the support of management and would like to welcome everyone to this workshop. And please do enjoy yourself as well.
The constituency officers were taken through various topics that included the overview of the National Assembly of Zambia Research Department. National Assembly of Zambia has different caucuses that serve as platforms for members to discuss and strategize on legislative matters. Therefore, during the masterclass, some research desk officers, in collaboration with cooperating partners, gave presentations on what some caucuses advocate for. Mr. Rowan Jenny, Program Manager from World Wildlife Fund for Nature, WWF, gave a presentation on how WWF, through the Voice for Just Climate Action, operates with the Parliamentary Caucus on Climate Change.
The traditional areas that WWF has been working on has been mostly wildlife for some time, but it has transitioned with time, looking at forests, and now looking a lot again into freshwater, and going now in an innovative phase. I call it innovative because WWF is simply a conservation organization. It is the world's leading conservation organization working in over 100 countries in the world. So when you hear conservation, in most cases what you're going to be thinking about is like protecting animals, wildlife, protecting trees and things like that. But we are going innovative in that there is now a realization to say in order for us to succeed in our conservation agenda, there has to be the care for the human being. So the new vision and the innovative vision of WWF is to care for both human and nature. This is because it has been proven to say for as long as the human being is not taken care of, they will continue destroying nature. This is where the Voices for Just Climate Action comes in. Like I said, we have a program. This is the program that is working with the caucus on environment and climate change. And there is the aspect of justice. That word just, it is just justice. And that is to say human beings have got rights. You cannot just say you want to conserve water, you want to conserve nature. Human beings have got rights. And it will be very important, as staff of the National Assembly and as you focus on research, to know what are some of these human rights that needs to be respected, needs to be taken care of, needs to be addressed so that they are championed in the House.
This was followed by a presentation from Ms. Lusekelo Chinyama, Program Officer at ActionAid, on how constituency officers can be engaging the Youth Parliamentary Caucus on issues affecting the youths from the constituencies.
We have noticed that we do appreciate the role of the Zambian Youth Parliamentary Caucus championing the interests of young people on the floors of Parliament. Yeah. So the importance of the ZYPC is that it consolidates efforts. So as opposed to leaning on one member of parliament who is a young person, who is a youth below the age of 35, for instance, to champion all these interests, it is better to have a group of members of parliament, a caucus that actually focuses on this. So even the efforts are, more felt, the impact is more felt, other than just relying on individual members. How do you come in? For us to be able to take note of the interests and for these parliamentarians to come out and speak on these different issues, we need information. Because as it stands, without knowing what is going on in these different constituencies and what the young people are saying in these different constituencies, we might not have it will be hearsay, okay? It will be based off of what this young parliamentarian thinks or feels. So now, your role as constituency officers would be to mobilize young people. So one thing you can do is maybe encourage young people to meet, okay, to discuss their issues, call for community town hall meetings, or when you do organize community town hall meetings, select youth representatives from these communities who have, of course, consulted, so that you can get information on what is going on, get their interests, get their views. And once that information is collected, you can share it with the Zambia Youth Parliamentary Caucus, which can then present these views before the floors of parliament.
Other presentations were on how some parliamentary departments operate in relation with constituency officers. These include the Information and Communications Technology ICT department that dealt more on how the e-Parliament operates, the operations of the Parliamentary Reforms and Strategy, the Parliamentary Budget Office, the Parliamentary Library Department, the Monitoring and Evaluation Department, and the Committee Department. The officers were also taken through the data collection framework and were given an opportunity to share ideas on how constituency office work can be improved. And in a vote of thanks, Mr. Prosper Chifuwe, Kawata Professional Assistant, thanked management and the cooperating partners for organizing the research fair.
From what we have been taught today, on my own behalf and indeed my colleagues' behalf, I would like to assure you, especially our host, that the information that we are going to provide National Assembly's respective departments is going to be authentic, is going to be viable, is going to be verifiable. It's going to be information that will be first-hand. It will be information that is going to be accurate, because if we do not provide such accurate and verified information, it then means that whatever happens upwards would have been caused by ourselves at constituency level. So my fellow colleagues, let us ensure that we put into good use and practice what we have been taught today. My capacity as a PA right now feels like it's been built beyond the roof, and when I go back, I think they're going to see a different PA that is going to address issues on, especially my interest is children. My background is child rights, so I'm very excited to see that National Assembly is mainstreaming. So when I go, we have a lot of issues pertaining children that affect children. And so when I go back individually, I think I'm going to be a more vibrant PA. I'm going to be involved in most of these matters that respective caucuses from National Assembly are dealing in. Lastly but not the least, we're going to do this so that we feed into the mission and the vision of the National Assembly.
It is evident that the masterclass did provide with the necessary information to the constituency officers in line with the theme, leveraging constituency officers as research satellites for enhanced data collection.
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
The research fair, which ran from 21st to 24th November 2023 under the theme Leveraging Constituency Offices as Research Satellites to Enhance Data Collection, was officially launched on 22nd November 2023. Prior to the official opening, a masterclass was conducted for constituency officers to be provided with the necessary information in line with the theme. The research fair was officially launched by the first Deputy Speaker, Honorable Malungo Chisangano, MP. In her keynote speech, she noted that the objectives of the 2023 research fair were in line with the National Assembly of Zambia's Strategic Plan 2022 to 2026.
In this regard, the objectives of the 2023 research fair are as follows. 1. To scale up the demand for research products and services by members. The second one, to strengthen the value proposition of the research department by enhancing the collaboration with constituency officers and external partners, and to promote diverse sources of information for members. Further, the scope of the research fair has been expanded to include the objectives of decentralizing and escalating data collection on thematic areas covered by parliamentary caucuses and from constituencies respectively, hence being referred to as research satellites.
The first Deputy Speaker expressed confidence that the constituency officers will play an active role in data collection for parliamentary use.
I am happy that the research department has again managed to organize this important event with constituency officers at the center of it. You will recall that in the recent past, presiding officers have undertaken visits to almost all the constituencies nationwide. One of the things we noted was that the constituency officers have so much potential, yet underutilized in many aspects. As such, the decision to use them as research satellites is very welcome.
And speaking earlier, Deputy Clerk Procedure Mrs. Cecilia Sikatele Mambwe disclosed that the research department has identified constituency officers as research satellites following the 2022 research fair, which highlighted the need for members to enhance evidence use in their parliamentary work.
We had the research fair last year, and during the inaugural launch for the research fair last year, the Right Honourable Madam Speaker emphasized the need for members to enhance evidence use in their parliamentary work. Therefore, in line with Madam Speaker's call, the research department has identified constituency officers as research satellites for purposes of widening the source base of verifiable information for members' use. And for this reason, Madam Speaker, the 2023 research fair has prominently focused on constituency officers. And at this point, Madam, I would like to say that we have in our midst 50 professional assistants from various constituency officers across the country who are participating in this year's research fair. And I think we need to recognize them. So allow me, Madam Speaker, to request the professional assistants to just stand so that we can get to see you and get to know you.
Oxfam Southern Africa in Zambia Program Officer Ms. Annie Sikanwe stated that the research fair was a good way in enhancing data collection from